Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Canadian income taxes, Part 2. My name is Ruchika, and I'm the project coordinator at Costi Immigrant Services, and I will be your presenter for this webinar. Thank you for taking the time out and being here with us today. The agenda for today's presentation is how to prepare to file for your income taxes, some of the helpful things to remember, and what are the available resources. As a tax filer, you would either use the general income tax and benefit package for the province or territory where you have lived on December 31st, or the income tax and benefit package for non-residents and deemed residents of Canada. If you'd like to prepare your tax return yourself, you can file your return online using one of the several tax preparation software packages available for a fee, or in some cases free of charge. You can find a list of NetFile certified software at the Canadian Revenue Agency's website. And please note that sometimes NetFile is not accessible under certain situations. Let's look at preparing to file for your income tax. In some cases, you would get a tax refund when you file your income tax. You could get a tax return instead of being asked to pay taxes, and these tax returns could be in terms of GST or HST credit, which is based on income. You could get the Ontario Trillium benefit, the Canada Child Tax benefit. Tuition, education, and textbook amounts can also be the tax refunds. And to find out more about child and family benefits, you should use the Child and Family Calculator, which is available online. What are the things which I can file for? Family, childcare, and caregiver deductions and credits, education deductions and credits, disability deductions and credits, pension and saving plans deductions and credits, and employment expenses and credits can be some of the things which you can file for. Please go to Canada Revenue Agency's website to find detailed information about each of these topics. For example, let's take an international student. You can claim the following as tax credits. The first one is your admission fee, examination fee including rereading charges that are integral to a program of study, application fees, but only if you enroll in the institution. You cannot claim for application fee if you are not enrolled in that institution, confirmation fees, academic fees, charges for the use of the library or lab fees, seminar or membership fees specifically related to your academic program and its administration, mandatory computer service fees, and charges for certificate, diploma, or degrees. Moving on to see what are the items required for filing your income tax here in Canada. The time for filing your income tax has finally arrived. You will need to gather all the following documents to file for your taxes. You will need your SIN number, ITN number, or TTN number, and all the tax forms from your school, from your employer, and your banks. The T2202A Tuition, Education, and Textbook Amounts Certificate is an official statement for income tax purposes. This form is issued to all students who have paid tuition and fees for qualifying courses that are eligible for claim on the income tax return. The T4 tax form is a salaried income tax form in Canada. If you are a salaried employee, the T4 tax slip is used by your employer to indicate what you have been paid before deductions, as well as your CPP, QPP, EI contributions, as well as any other amounts deducted from your paycheck during the tax year. A T4A statement represents the collective amount of all adult upgrading grants, which is AUG. Formerly, this was called ABESAP. Canada study grants, bursaries, scholarships, passport to education, or other awards received or deemed through the college within the tax or the calendar year. Amount on T4As must be reported as other income on the income tax return as specified by the Canada Revenue Agency. T4As are issued in February of each year and mailed to the student's address on record. A T5 is called a return of investment income under the Income Tax Act, and you must prepare to file for a T-file information return if you have investments. A Canadian T3 tax slip or statement of trust income, allocations, and designations is prepared and issued by financial administrators and trustees to tell you and the Canada Revenue Agency how much income you have received from investments in mutual funds in non-registered accounts, from businesses, income tax receipts, which could be your transit or your rent, etc. COVID and working from home. CRA has made certain adjustments to income tax during the pandemic. So the new temporary flat rate method was introduced. As an employee, you may be able to claim a deduction for certain home office expenses, which is the workspace in the home expenses, or office supplies, or certain phone expenses. The new temporary flat rate method simplifies your claim for a home office expense deduction. And what is the eligibility? If you have worked for more than 50% of the time from home for a period of at least 4 consecutive weeks in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you can claim $2 for each day you have worked from home during that period. You can then also claim $2 for any additional day you have worked at home in 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic. The maximum you can claim for the temporary flat rate method is $400 per individual. This method can only be used for 2020 tax year. Now let's see what counts as a worked day. Days that can be counted are days which you have worked full-time hours from home or days that you have worked part-time hours from home. The days which cannot be counted are your days off, your vacation days, your sick leave days, or any other leave or absences. Some things are simplified for you. You do not have to calculate your workspace details, and you do not have to keep supporting documents. Some things are simplified for your employer. The employer does not have to complete and sign the Form T2200S or Form T2200 if you have a larger claim. You can still choose to use the detailed method to calculate your employment expenses. Get a completed and signed Form T2200S or Form T2200 from your employer and keep documents to support your claim. For more information from working from home expenses for employees, go to canada.ca/cra-home-workplace-expenses. Deciding how and where your taxes will be filed. If this is the first time you're filing your taxes, pick up a copy of the General Income Tax and Benefit Guide 2019, plus the form book 2019 at the closest Canada Post or the Service Canada location. If you have done this before, you can choose to file on paper, or you can even go online and file the taxes using NetFile. Let's see some of the helpful tips and the things to remember while filing your taxes. You can learn to file your own taxes. There are lots of videos for newcomers and international students on the CRA's website. There are forms and contact information available for support for first-time filers if you want to do it yourself. So if you feel you are comfortable enough, then you can go and, of course, file your taxes yourself. There are also a lot of support services which are available in the community. So number one, there are agencies which collaborate with CRA and which help newcomers file taxes. There is the Chartered Professional Accountant Associations, which help also with tax clinics. There is the Toronto Public Library. And there are also many community organizations which host free virtual tax clinics. Volunteers may be able to help you complete and file your taxes for free. This can be done by video conference or by phone or through a document drop-off arrangement. And to find a clinic, please check the free tax clinic, the national directory of that. Other useful website is settlement.org, which has loads of information for newcomers in how to find these free tax clinics and also how to file taxes. Now let's see what happens after you file your income tax. Generally, when the CRA receives your return, they screen it through the CRA's computer system and send you a notice of assessment. You should keep complete and organized records of all the information you have used to file your income tax and benefit return. Keep the record for 6 years after filing each return. If you owe money and you are late, you are charged a late filing penalty plus interest. You should keep your documents for at least 6 years after filing it. As mentioned, you should keep your tax return documents for 6 years. You should keep a copy of your receipt from NetFile, which is the electronic file again, a copy of your notice of assessment, all your tax slips, a proof of your income and rent, and also receipts which were used for tax credits. So you should keep all these documents in a safe place for at least 6 years. This webinar was brought to you by Orientation to Ontario, which is a bilingual program funded by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada and by the Government of Ontario. This program has been designed to expedite and facilitate the settlement of newcomers to Ontario and help them make better informed choices. Our email address is o20@costi.org and our phone number is 1-855-626-0002. And we have lots of information at www.settlement.org/O20. So I encourage you to go and visit this website. Costi Immigrant Services is a community-based multicultural agency specifically focused on providing services to all newcomers who are settling in the Greater Toronto Area. Costi provides educational, social, and employment services to help newcomers become self-sufficient and settled in their new community. Costi manages the O2O program, which has brought you this webinar today. Thank you everyone for being with us today and listening to this webinar. I hope you have gained valuable information on filing your income taxes in Canada.